let's focus on getting more lift to the baseline, getting new lift to the baseline when you are in the attacking formation. There are a lot of things that's not the best way of doing this. I will walk you through some different examples here when you have a good solid attack. But how can you get a new lift to maybe get it in a better situation where you can do some winners? The first tip, the first thing I wanna say is that do a lot of variation from the back of the court. Do a lot of drops. Instead of just attacking on the first one coming, maybe do a straight drop, a drop to the middle. So you will get a new chance of being in a maybe better position, in a better balance when you do the attack. So that's the first thing that we focus on here to get a new lift, is to do a lot of drop shots to especially in the middle area. That's always a good place to do your drop. So that's tip number one in this example. Once again, if we just for a moment forget about all the hard power smashes, another thing you can do from up here is to do reverse cuts, or normal cuts, or steep smashes. When you do the steep smashes or the cuts, it's actually very tricky for the persons in the defense to do something that would put you under pressure. So that's also a very good option for you to maybe get a new lift or get a very short lift where you can do your hard power smashes. So the cuts and also the steep stick smashes. I think that's not the best option when you have, let's say you have the attack over here, is to do a very, very hard power smash going cross. If you do that in this position, your smash will come over here. This area over here, especially when you're right-handed, in the backhand, will be very, very open for the persons in the defense. It for sure won't give you a new lift. It will put you under pressure in this situation, especially if your partner is not ready for that. He or she won't have any chance of going out here to get that one and do something creative about that. So really be careful about doing the power smashes cross, especially if you want a new lift. This is not the way. It's not the way to go. So last thing here in this video is another thing that's not the best way to do, is to play out of balance smashes. No matter if it's the forehand or the backhand, don't do the hard power smash if you're out of balance. It probably won't get you a new lift, because this is what we focus on in this video, to get a new lift, to do a better attack, to have a better position. So if you do the smashes out of balance, moving to the corners will give your opponents a lot of possibilities to play the short one to the dead zone, to move you across on the baseline. So if you want a new lift when you do the attack, don't smash if you're out of balance. Really try to wait for the right chance. Do the drops or do maybe the cuts in this position. Then you will get a new lift, and then you can do the power attack. Let's focus on if you and your partner is in the defense. This is probably the most tricky way on switching things around. So when you are in the defense, how can we get the attack? How can we get the lift? It's first of all, it's very important that you practice your defense, so you have more options to be creative, to put more pressure on the net or the dead zones, all these places where there is some openings on the pairs who is doing all the attacks. So the first thing I want to say is that when you are in the defense, of course it's very obvious that the short return is very good, but you really need to wait for the right chance to do it, and you also need to wait to see if you do it, if it's in the right place. So if you do a bad return to the net, don't go to the net. Then you need to stay maybe a little bit back again, and you are forced to do another lift. So of course, once again, train your defense and train your ability to do solid blocks to the net, straight, to the middle, maybe cross, and then wait for the right chance to attack the net after you do the block. That's really important if you want to change things around. And if you want to wait for the right chance, well, how do we do that? What should we focus on before the right chance? How can we put the yellow players who's doing the attack in a position that puts us in a better position on doing the blocks. And that would be to move this player around from side to side to side. So once again, you need a solid defense in order for you to put yourself in a better position on doing the blocks. So in this position, when the smash comes, move him all the way over here with good height and good length. So he will maybe be a little bit out of balance, a little bit under pressure in the other side. And that leaves very good option for my partner if he tries to do the smash again. There's also the possibility that he will try to do the drop shot like we talked about before. So a little bit in front, being ready for the drop shot, being ready for maybe the flat smash coming. If it's a bad lift down here, stay back and maybe do it one more time to see if that's better. I wouldn't recommend you to do it just to go back in the defense and move him side to side, but if you're forced to do it, then have patience, wait for the right chance. See if you can get him out of balance, move a little bit in front to get ready for maybe the flat smash coming. Then you can do your block. Comes down here, you do your block to the net, and then you run up, attack the net, making the person over here maybe do the lift, and then you have switched things around and you have the upper hand in the rally. The last thing here in this video is another option maybe to change things around, and that is to play your defense shots to the dead zones. If you're not in the best possible way on doing the block shot, or you don't have confidence to do all the high defense cross, maybe an option is to, on the smash, to return it in this area over here. That would put this guy still maybe in an attacking formation, but if he does attacking shot back, we will be more in the flat game with the racket up high, and in this position it is easier to do the block to the net. So this is for sure an option you can do to do precise defense shots to the dead zones. And if you can get him to reach the shuttle under the edge of the net, you have the upper hand. So you need to move forward, because he will probably try to play the net, or he will probably try to lift it straight down here. So you really need to have movement in your body, in your legs, if you can see that you have made a very good defense shot to the dead zone. So this is a very good option. Instead of doing the high crosses or the block, you can use the dead zones to change things around as well. So the last thing in this lesson is maybe the weirdest part, or maybe the most tricky part, and that is to use your defense to get the attack. But how do we do that, and what do I mean about that? If you get the attack at all times, it's very, very hard for you. Your stamina really, really needs to be good. And if you are playing against a very, very solid defense, you have maybe tried that it's impossible for you to do smashes, to do winners. Well, what do? We use our defense to get better chances, to make the players on the other side more tired, to have more openings on court, to make them do a bad decision, and then we counter-attack. It's a really, really good way on opening up their defense. If they're just standing very solid in the defense, it's almost impossible for you to do winners. You need to go in the defense. You need to play the shuttle away to make them work hard as well. And that leaves your defense in a position where you need to be sharp. If you don't have that solid defense, but you have a really great attack, well, it won't make a difference, because in that case where you play against the solid defense, you won't win the match. You will probably lose in the end. So that's what we focus on in this last video, is to use your defense to counter-attack or to get better chances on doing winners from the baseline. So when we say you have the attack in the rally, it's not only to do the smash. It can also be at the net. We can have the attack at the net. We can have the attack on the dead zone, and we can do the counter-attack when the yellow players up here maybe do a bad smash or bad drop, or something that leaves us with an opening on doing the counter-attack, moving closer to the net. So let's say in this example that the yellow player up here does a very, very bad drop straight or in the middle. We need to attack that. We need to do the counter-attack. We need to be ready for these small openings where there is points to be won. So if he makes a very bad drop shot in this place, one of these blue players they really need to run very fast, closing this area. And I will recommend for this one to do it. But of course, if this one down here runs before him, he needs to stay back, let him do it, because he might have seen something before you have down here. So the most important thing here is that the person who runs first or in front of the other will just keep on running. Don't stop if you see that your partner is running. Okay, so we need to attack that one. We need to counter attack in this place, dead zone, or of course down here if we can. So that would put these pairs up under a lot of pressure. Maybe they will get it down here, but they will do a very bad lift in this position. And then we can go for the attack in this position maybe, or down in here, to do some winners. Okay, so that's the first thing you can do when you do the counter attack. The next one, we have touched upon it, is when they do flat smashes, when they do bad smashes, cross smashes, out of balance smashes. There we also need to be ready to do the counter attack, especially in this area over here, on the cross or on the bad flat straight. Flat return down here is also a very good option. So the drop and also the bad smashes, you need to be ready to counter attack. So let's say that the blue players, they have the attack, and they have the attack a lot in the game, and they smash and drop and all these things, that nothing is going on. Like I said, it is possible to change things around to make these players work hard on the baseline doing the attack as well. So in this position, should I clear then? Should I make a high clear? Well, I don't think so. That would be the last option for you to do if you are totally tired and you have no idea what to do. You can of course do a clear to try to start over in the rally and see if that works out for you. But in this position, there's a few things you can do to try to trick your opponents to do a bad decision. And that is of course variation. The cut, the stick smashes, they're very tricky just to return all the way to the baseline. But another thing you can do is you can actually do a flat smash. It's a little bit dangerous, it's a little bit tricky, but when you do a flat smash, you will probably get a flat return. If the player at the net is very ready for that, or you, right after the flat smash, move forward because you think that these players over here, they will return flat. You can counter attack on their flat return, or you can try to do winners very, very close to the net, or maybe smash in the middle. That's of course also an option to do. But these flat smashes, they can in some cases surprise your opponents over there and put you in a very good position to do the counter attack. So that's also an option you can do if your attack just won't work. We have reached the end of this lesson, and just a briefly sum up is, we want to keep the net at all times. We want to be creative at the net, in the service situation, the dead zones, in the attack. Use your counter attacks. Be ready for all the small openings when your opponents are doing bad decisions. But remember, don't be too crazy in your arm. Don't want to play flat and to attack on all these things. Really be calm. Really have confidence that you can play sharp to the net. You can play sharp to the areas over here in the dead zones to get your lift. And when we get the lift, have variation from the back line. So that was it about keeping the net. If you master this, if you master especially the low serve, the returns, the dead zones, all these small things, you will be in a very good situation when you play these matches. I'm sure that it will change things around for you if you improve on these things and try to focus on keeping the net. It will get you more lift and hopefully also more winners. So thanks for watching, and good luck on practicing this yourself.